Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Curious Tech Life. This is Rodney Garcia. Thank you for joining me tonight. I know maybe some of you are kind of like, okay, well, why is there a web live stream tonight? Well, you know how we kind of try to mix things up here at Curious Tech Life, and we want to thank you if you're joining us here tonight. It's actually 9 o'clock Manila time. So you may be somewhere in between. I don't know where you are right now, but wherever you are right now, we want to thank you for joining us. Now, um, for tonight's live stream, we're calling it Curious Conversation. We are calling it Curious Conversation because we do want to have a conversation with anybody who is with us tonight, whether you're online, whether you are watching via video, or I don't know what's happening right now, or maybe you have nothing to do, right? So we're having that conversation today, and if you're joining us on YouTube. Maybe you stumbled upon us while you're just browsing on YouTube, and then you just say, hey, what is this? So we want to encourage you to please subscribe, watch, like, comment, and share. I know that's a lot of things to do, but that's what happens here on YouTube. We ask people to watch the videos that we do. But of course, first and foremost, I would like to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click that little bell button, and so that we can provide you with the videos every week. And this week we're doing a little live stream. We're doing a 1 hour live stream right now. And some of you may be thinking, okay, where are the other unboxing videos? Well, number one, to answer that question, we are preparing some more unboxing and review videos. In fact, we have great news because there are companies who are going to be working with who will be part of, more or less part of the channel in some way, shape, or form. And we have the privilege of being in a place of a working relationship with these wonderful uh, companies and their products, and we're going to be showcasing them very soon on the channel, sooner than you think. So we're kind of preparing that. We're in that the process of preparing that. So please do, uh, what do you call this? Watch out for that. All right. But again, again, we want to encourage you, if you are a someone who has not uh, uh, subscribed to our channel. Maybe you are someone who has just stumbled upon us. Please do go and subscribe. Now, let's say, for example, we're also streaming right now on Facebook, and you happen to be on Facebook. I'd like to encourage you to go jump into YouTube as well. The link is right here at the bottom. Let me put that here. There you go. YouTube.com/Curious Tech Life. And we are on our goal to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And we're hoping that this live stream will help us out. All right. So with the topic at hand. Oh, by the way, we are available on chat. I am actually on chat for both channels. So whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube, I will be, more or less, I'll be able to see the chat flow. And we've got Jopet here online. Hey, Jopet, thanks for joining today, bro. Thank you, appreciate it. I know it's a little like last minute thing, but you know how things are. Sometimes the last minute ones are the ones that actually push through. So anyway, always good to have a sip of water before you do stuff, and just to make sure that everything is working properly. All right, so we are on our curious conversations, and our curious conversation tonight is 1 week after the Apple event. So for those of you who may be living under a rock, Last week we did have a live stream, a live stream of the Apple event. Maybe some of you may not, maybe living under a rock and not knowing that we did have a live stream. But yeah, there you go. Wait, let me change the background. Why is their background like that? There you go. Okay, so we had the live stream last week and stayed up until 4 in the morning just to check out what these new Apple products would be. So and there was such a lot of hype about that because people were expecting uh, certain products or services or even updates of anything Apple really. If you know, if you remember, a few weeks prior to the event, they launched the Apple. Is that the Apple Air? But it's another. Oh, sorry, the iPad Air. So they did launch that, and a lot of people were really very optimistic about that, about the new iPad, which I'm sure, I'm assuming there are a lot of people right now, specifically on YouTube, they're doing the reviews and all of that. When that's good, but this particular event is a little bit of a mixed bag of reactions. Some a little bit okay with that, some a little bit not okay. But we do want to talk about that. And here's the thing: that's the reason why we want to talk about the week after, because we do now have the like it's like you're so excited about a lot of stuff, and then you're checking about the hype and all of that, and you're like thinking, okay, so this is how it looks like, it's et cetera, blah blah blah, and then you're so excited about that, and the next thing you know, well, hmm, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, and it takes a while for everything to just settle in. So I gave it about a week just to, I checked out all the different YouTube videos and their take on this and their take on that. And, it's a mixed bag, really. It's a mixed bag. And how other companies are already taking shots at the announcement, right? So we go back a week later to that event and with uh, more settled emotions. We go back and look back and talk about it. So if you want to join the conversation, please join us on chat. You can put your what do you call this? You can put your comments on the chat session. If you're part of YouTube, it's actually a little bit better. I think it's a little bit better using the program or the what I'm using here. I think the YouTube is a little bit more responsive because a lot of people actually are using YouTube for this particular chat. So again, so if you have like opinions about it or your thoughts about it, you can always go to YouTube. There's part join the chat, and I'll be able to read it right now, right in front of me, and then we can highlight some of that. And that's if you've got questions, opinions and stuff like that. Go and ask. Go and ask. I'm more than happy to answer them if I can. All right, so maybe let's go. Oops, sorry, press the wrong button. Here we go. Okay, how do we do this? Okay, here we go. So we're gonna look back the Apple announcement, and there were a few. And I'm gonna go to the website because usually that's what happens after the announcement. They've got this whole website, a new website, just raring to go, so people can ask questions. But we're not gonna go in depth in the sense that we have to go and click on every single link. But I just want to go to the site right now, and this is what the site looks like on the Apple site. Well, and you're going to see the first one is the Apple 12, which is the highlight of the announcement last week. The Apple 12 or the iPhone 12 Pro, and they also launched the iPhone 12, which is like the basic model. But actually, after that, they even launched a mini, which is kind of okay. We'll talk about that later. And then after that, we've got the other ones. Well, some of the products that they have here. They also launched the HomePod HomePod Mini, and let's see if it's here. But I don't think it's here. Let me check. Let me check. maybe because I'm checking it out. There you go. Okay, I'm gonna click that X here. Okay, because I'm looking at it with the Philippines site. So they had the iPhone, or sorry, the HomePod Mini. Okay, so those are basically the three things that they launched last week, which is the iPhone 12 product line and the iPhone 12 and the HomePod Mini. HomePod Mini. We're gonna look at it one by one. Let's see if we can check that out here. Okay, let's go first to the 12. And their line here, it says that it is a blast from the past, blast from the past. Okay, now if you notice, there is the something about the iPhone 12 is if you look at it, the which is right here, right? If you look at the body of the iPhone 12, it is very similar to the previous iPhone versions that we had, primarily like around iPhone 4 ish going forward. It's practically the same build in the sense that we have these like cornered edges, and I think I even showed you. I even had an old iPhone 4S, and it really looked like that with the cornered edges. And that's why I say, it's a classic look, look back and all of that. And I was asked about that and saying, I wonder why they went back to the particular this particular design. And you know, let me just say this before I go forward. There's something about the animations on the. I mean, I appreciate the whole animations on this on the Apple side, but sometimes it just helps a little bit in terms of presentation, but sometimes navigation is not really that good. Sometimes it depends. Again, see, so even if I go have to go back there after return and there's because this animation going on anyway. So um so when regards to the Apple 12, they go back to that old jagged, not jagged, like shaped corner style of presentation, which I believe it is not just to refresh a design, because uh, we're usually looking at the phones right now. They're very flat, they're very curved. There's not a lot of jagged image or curved or corner kind of phones nowadays. It's usually very slick and smooth and round and all of that. And for me personally, I think it's just one of those things that Apple does just to throw a curveball. Wherein when you buy a phone like this one, and then everybody, I mean, imagine that when they started something like this, and then everybody's going through that trend, and then they throw a curveball like this one. I'm kind of thinking, okay, I wonder if the next phones will go back to this. So that could be one. It could be just a refresh a little bit. And you're going to be seeing a lot more like this, probably the next 3 or 4 versions of iPhone as they move forward. So that's one take of mine. Another take is maybe because they are making more room for more technology, and in this case, more battery life. Although it wasn't really mentioned how long the battery life will be, but considering the major announcement on the 5G, which is actually their pitch, uh, they're making room for other what do you call this kinds of technology. If you remember, before, when they in the MacBooks, when they removed the drive, that gave them more room to make it lesser in terms of size. I don't know, it works that way, like more room for less or something like that, right? So but in this case, that's what they're doing. I think they're making more room. If you remember, also iPhone 12 does have the magnet, which I'll check it out later, which kind of made me kind of smile a little bit. But basically, that could be it for our iPhone 12. The reason why they went back to that, maybe because they want to pack a few more things on the phone itself. Okay, so here are some of the highlights of the iPhone 12. It's is which is the first one, and I want you to. I'm not really sure what the where the link is for that, but there is this link wherein everything that was mentioned about 5G was on that link. It's like 5G, 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 5G. and it's funny because it's if you really look at it, and if you're a marketing person, if you're in pre-sales or in sales, you're quick to spot on things like that, and you do know that they're pushing 5G. They're the same way they pushed 3G when they even launched the iPhone 3G. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if some of you were born at that time, but they did launch an iPhone 3G, if you remember that, because they were really positioning the phone as a 3G phone. This time it's a 5G phone. Now, of course, there are already other brands that are uh, in the 3G space. In fact, Samsung already mentioned that this week when they said, "Hey, we've been, Apple's just saying hello, but we've been friends for quite some time." It's that amazing, marketing sense. That's genius, right? So, but then again, things, something about Apple is that their little world. Uh, of course, they know there are competitors, but Apple does a great way of marketing their products that they may not be the first one, but they're going to be the best one. And I'm not talking here as an Apple fanboy, right? It's just that I'm talking as someone who has seen how Apple has done their marketing for so many years. And they've been bashed for so much stuff. And it's just that even if they've been bashed, they have a way of presenting things um, in such a way that you can appreciate even the lack of certain features. But here, the iPhone 12 is primarily focused on the 5G. Now, here's the thing about 5G. Number one, of course, for this particular model, and all the models I believe of Apple 12 have 5G, whether it's the Max, which we'll talk about a little bit, and the Mini, all of them have 5G, and that's great. But I think their primary target is the US. Okay, their primary target is of course, the US, which they usually roll out these things like 6 months after they launch it. So that's why I'm probably like a certain percentage around the world are like 5G. What am I gonna do with 5G, right? I mean, we barely have internet in our country or wherever I am. How in the world am I gonna use 5G for? Case, yeah, that's a great point, and that's actually what I said when I was watching. I'm like, 5G, cool, but nobody's gonna be able to. I mean, it's some people are just happy enough to have for LTE, right? An LTE or even 4G or even 3G or even just have an internet, for that matter. So I'm sure they're pushing this as a 5G phone. Not really sure if that's something that a lot of people will use around the world because not everybody in the world is 5G. For all you know, we'll be moving to 6G already. That's just how fast technology is. All right. Hey, I want to say hi to Jopet again and also Paulo. Paulo, thanks for joining me today. Such an appreciation. Oh, by the way, hey, Jopet and Paulo, can you put also on the chat your YouTube, what do you call that? Your YouTube URL. So we want to let people know these guys, these are my friends, by the way, just to let you know. And they came here not because I coached them to be here, but they want to be here. But I want to give a shout out to them, and not just that, but also let them like promote their brand because that's what friends do, right? We help each other out with our channels. So again, so the 5G thing, I'm not really sure if that's something that's gonna fly to other countries. I'm sure they're gonna market that to the ground, but I'm sure you're not just gonna buy the phone because of the 5G. But I want you to check out that video. Find that out. Find that video when it says 5G, 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 5G. It's just hilarious. Okay, an A14 Bionic chip, the fastest chip in a smartphone, and there's an edge-to-edge OLED display, which is always good. Ceramic shield with 4 times better drop performance. When I looked at it, it's like, I wonder how this performs with the Gorilla Glass. So I guess this is a they've the funny part here is when I was watching the video, it's like they actually tested to break, which is like that's cool. I mean, that's cool. I mean, they actually have a way to test. Is this gonna break if we drop it this much and that much and stuff like that? So they can claim that with this ceramic shield, it's 4 times better when it comes to the drop performance. Now, of course, you do not want to do that, okay? Unless you've got a YouTube channel that pays for itself and there's tons of money that's flooding outside of your nostrils, and you can just buy all these gadgets. Go ahead and do the drop test. But for me, maybe not. All right, and the A14 Bionic chip. One of the things about, and this is so true, about the Apple products that have their own their own chip, they do run faster. And I still remember the logic behind. I'm not sure if it was Steve Jobs that answered this question or said this, but I do believe it's a great ecosystem wherein they create the hardware and they create the software. Because oftentimes what is happening is that there are companies that just create the hardware. Okay, they create the hardware and they don't create the software. Right? They create the hardware and they don't create the software, and that's what usually happens. Right? There's a conflict on drivers and stuff like that. But here, since you're the one creating the hardware and you're the one creating the software, you can make them work much better, more efficiently. You can make sure that the hardware is working well, that when you start creating the code and the operating system and the software that goes with the operating with the hardware, it's seamless, that they work together, and if there's going to be any problems, then they can easily fix that, no problem, right? So that's why, if you notice, their strategy really just to encourage people to buy their products is they're giving away a lot of software free. The operating system is free, which is on the other side of the fence. You do have to invest on a starter plan or starter kit, an enterprise, or whatever. Here, it's for free. You have to buy their suite of word processing and spreadsheet and all that. Here, it's free. And even their applications for creativity is free, like GarageBand and iMovie. So it's like, for me, it's like a real value for money. So it's always good that the hardware is having a tango with the software. And I think for the iPhone and all the products that are that has an I, iPad, iPhone, what else? Basically, those lines that have the Bionic chip, they do perform very well. That's why they already decided that this coming in the next line of MacBooks, they're not going to be using Intel anymore. They're going to be using their own chips, and in the process, this also enables their new MacBooks to run the apps that are downloaded on for the iPad and iPhone, which is basically just seamless. Now, you can say a lot of pros and cons about that, but for people who really buy a MacBook, they're looking for speed, compatibility, and it just works fast. And it doesn't. Uh, it's a secret. I didn't know it was a secret. I knew about that already before it was. Anyway, so is that a joke, Paulo? That is a secret. Optimization between hardware and software is a secret. Maybe the secret is I don't know how it works, but all I know is it does. Okay, so let's go back. Oh, let me just read some of the questions here. Yeah. Jopet mentioned it's an easy way, which we were referring to the body. It's an easy way to mount different accessories. Yes, that's true. That is true. That's a good point. That it does it, if it's blocked and all of that, it's easier to put more accessories on that. That's good. That's a good point. It's easy to mount different accessories, and yes, in the at the end of the other companies will copy them. Maybe copy them in such a way because not for the sake of copying, but it seems that more people like that, and that's why they're gonna basically go that bandwagon. And that's what I appreciate about Apple, that they're willing to go, um, take that road, take the road where people will throw tomatoes at you. Then later on, everybody's doing the same thing. Okay. And yes, Paolo said it's an optimization between hardware and software. And that's why I personally, I mean, as much as I appreciate how the computers, Windows computers are much faster now and more sleeker. But for me, since did move to the MacBook ecosystem, it's just that there's just a much better way of doing things, a much better way of making things work. I remember a lot of people who kind of, aside from the price point, a lot of people who were kind of iffy about moving to the MacBook was because how about my word processing? How about this? How about that? Excuse me. And when we start answering questions about that and saying, yeah, but um, you may not have Microsoft Word there, which eventually was migrated, or they already have a version of Microsoft Word there. But eventually, after you think about those things, there are a lot of things that like you don't really think about anymore. Like, okay, unless you're a gamer. Of course, if you're a gamer, go for a PC because Macs are not really meant for games. Not really. Uh, but for productivity, for creativity, for content creators, I go for a Mac. That's just me. Okay, and uh, and Paolo can attest that, right, Paolo? You can say, yeah, let's go for Mac because it's a better way to do content. All right, so let's go back. And there's a night mode camera on every night mode on every camera, and it says it has two perfect sizes, which is this one. Okay, we're gonna screen. Wait, can you actually see my screen? Okay, let me blow it up. Oh, sorry, I didn't know that. Okay, let's blow it up again. Here, okay, I'm gonna be at the bottom. There, there you go. Wait, let me hide all the messages first. There you go. All right, and yes, they have the big 6.1 Super Retina iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Mini 5.4. Not really sure why people would like to have a mini. Again, it's again a matter of preference. Uh, but I think for me, the 6.1 is a good size. But there are still some people who like to have a small phone. They want to have a small phone. Maybe because it doesn't take up a lot of space. And yeah, it does. I mean, there is a charm to it. Personally, I mean, the more I think about it, there is a certain charm about that. Maybe some people don't really like to have a big phone. Maybe some of them, they don't want to have, a big phone that's like put it in the pocket and it's too big. Or maybe I don't know. I don't really know, but maybe they made their research and they said, let's make a phone that's small. Let's look. Let's check it out. Let's see. Maybe there's some other YouTubers out there who's going to be reviewing this, and I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will with their monetized YouTube. By the way, let me just say this: a shameful plug. Please do subscribe to this channel if this is your first time to join us. Do subscribe to the channel simply because we are on our road to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours, so that this channel can be monetized. So we want to encourage you, please, 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 do subscribe. We are almost hitting 190 subscribers. That's not bad considering we're just more than a month old, as other people would say. It's not bad. And but we do hope that we can reach 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. But basically, the subscribers, I do hope that you can help us out. So again, go back. So go back, go back, go back, go back. There we go. So Uh, Question here is: are you going to be getting the 12? The basic 12 or the mini? Not really sure. Put your comments below. Let me know. What do you think about that? Okay, Paolo said Team Apple. Yes. Hashtag Team Apple. There you go. Hashtag Team Apple. Uh, Paolo mentioned phones nowadays that are big enough, you always use both hands. Sometimes I want to use the phone with just one hand. That's true. If you remember, they do have this feature when you have to like scroll twice at the bottom so that the entire screen will just kind of jolt down so that you can close whatever that window is. That's true. Yeah. So some people might say, I'm gonna get a mini because I don't want to scroll. I just want to use one hand. Hey, that floats a boat, no problem, right? So that may be one, or maybe it's just one of those things that, hey, yeah, I just want to have a small phone. I don't want a small. I want a small phone, but small enough to fit my pocket, but has the capacity and the features to, do a lot of stuff. But here is the smallest, and I guess that's why they're marketing it. It's the smallest 5G phone and better drop performance. Okay, and you can even spill and splash. It's spill and splash resistant. Whoever wrote this is that's a better way. That's a good H2OK. Even better spill and splash resistance. Splash and spill. It's like scratch and smell. That's a good play of words. Of course, it does. I mean, guys, again, there are features that have that. It's resistant to all of that. It's resistant to water but it's there for just in case purposes, not you have to purposes, right? Okay, it's moving on, and it's got 5 different colors. And let me scroll through that. I think that they call this blue, and they've got green. Green's pretty cool. I mean, yeah. Uh, and then red. They don't call it product red anymore. I'm not sure if they call this one product red. And then there's the typical white, and then the space black. And then again pushing the 5G. And then what else do we have here? Basically, and they have the same chip as the iPhone 12 Pro. Okay, so regardless of what you buy, which kind of variation you buy, you still have the same A14 Bionic chip, and it just has the other one has different features. And of course, the night mode, which is it's a good thing to have. Not really sure now today because there's not a lot of things that we can do now because we're stuck at home. But it's a nice to have. It's a nice. It's one of those things that, hey, I've got this. Might as well use it, right? So let's move through it. They're basically for this one. They're still highlighting the camera, and let me just go through it because we've got a lot of stuff to do. Okay. Oh, this one, the MagSafe. Okay, I miss the MagSafe on the MacBook. It's just one of those things that are good where you can put. In this case, it's a wallet, which I talked about, and of course, wireless charging, and you can mix and match and all of that. And of course, iOS 14. Okay, so let me scroll it back up if I can because of all the animations. Um, Let us talk about iPhone 12. Since we're here, let's go for the Pro. Since we're talking about the iPhone 12, uh, where is that? There. Okay, now the difference between the two, of course, the Pro is really meant for pros. I mean, there we go again, 5G. And they have the 3 cameras there instead of 2. I think the Mini only has 1 camera. Not really sure. But other than that, the the Pro, um, it would be interesting to see the iPhone 12, um, and how it looks like. I'm sure it's gonna look solid. I don't know. There's just something about a curved, like edged kind of design that I like. It just gives me that impression that it's solid. Would you agree? Agree with me if you can. Not forcing you though. but it does give you that, right? It does give you that impression that it looks solid, right? It does. And um and of course 5G and all of that, and of course they're gonna, here's this is what I'm saying. See, the animation is sometimes it's not really loading that fast. But okay, but let me go back to the top. We already know what the iPhone 12 does. So let's go back to the conversation. Okay, because we're not here to look at browsing websites. Okay, so let's talk again about the iPhone 12 for the meantime. Yes, it is classic, and I think there's something about it when you hold on something. I don't know. It's a brain thing, maybe, but when you hold on to something like this, it gives you a certain sense of it's solid. It feels solid. But it's yes, and Jopet is actually an artist, by the way. So he says something like this. He says symmetry is good. Yes, it does. There's something about that. And again, there's that feel of it's solid. It's not it there's that feel of, oh, this is not gonna break, more or less. Right? More or less it's gonna break. It's not gonna break right away. But the 12 does has is as usual. It has the cameras and all the other capabilities, because when you watch it, and guys, you're saying here, okay, is the Pro for me? Again, when you watch the Pro, the way it is marketed and it is uh, positioned, it's really meant for people who can use the phone in a very creative way, so much so that you can create much better looking photos and much better looking videos. I think they even had a documentary guy, director, saying that, I like what he said, that in that video, which holds true, by the way. Hold on. He said something like, in paraphrase, he said something like, maybe there's already someone who's the next documentary director, something like that, who's already using one of these things, which is a big possibility. A lot of budding, starting creative people did not use a black magic camera, or those really high definition and 4K big size cameras. No, they started with a phone. They started with not even a high definition phone. They just started with a simple, even an Android phone. They started with that phone and they made the most out of that until the time came when they moved on to a much better model. So, and that's true, right? So for the iPad, sorry, not the iPad, but the iPhone 12 Pro, it does have these features that can bring your it's not even amateur anymore. It brings your shooting, whether it's video or photo, into a next level. Okay, and for the price point, it should. But then again, let me just say this before I go to the chat. Let me say this, and this is something that I stand on. uh Whatever, don't let the gear does not make you creative. Okay, it helps you, it helps your creativity get to the point wherein from your mind and in your soul you can make it happen. But the gear itself does not make you creative. It's a bridge between an idea to a reality, but it does not make you creative. Let me give you my point. Drop it right here, who's part of the chat right now. He is an artist. Now he's got amazing work. Okay, he's done amazing work, and you're gonna look at it and say, "That's great. That's awesome. What did you use?" A lot of stuff that he does, there are some stuff that he does. We would think he would use a Stedler or a Rotring or these high end, but he's using ball pens. Ball pens. I'm like, he's using a ball pen to create his art, right? And if you didn't tell me that it was a ball pen, I wouldn't know. Now that proves. That's the point I want to make. That's why I'm trying to make this conversation. It's not the gear that makes the creator creative. The creative must be creative. I mean, the creator, the content creator, whoever it is, must be creative, and the tools help them get there. Okay. So again, don't. It's like when you buy a Michael Jordan shoes, doesn't make you Michael Jordan. Okay, the shoes don't make you Michael Jordan. Doesn't make you play better than him or even at par with him. No, 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 no. Okay, so let me. Uh, okay, Paulo says he doesn't like the Pro. I don't. What I don't like about the Pro is the glossy stainless. Glossy stainless. Okay, not really sure. Is it glossy stainless? Maybe it looks good in person. There's something about looking at it at first before you buy it, right? So maybe it looks good. Maybe it just doesn't look good on TV, on the video, but maybe it looks better. There's a saying: the best camera you can get is the camera that we already have. True, that is true. And again, you can, and this is something I'm going to be talking about in my other channel, late late bloomer YouTuber, wherein we're going to point out that it's not the gear that makes everything better. It's first and foremost the visionary that makes everything in his mind better. And then whatever limitations you have with whatever gear that you have or whatever that you have, that's where your creativity kicks in, because it's not the gear that creates the creator, right? It's the creator. You yourself becomes the creative person. Okay. So going back. All right. So if you've got some questions, we are practically more than halfway going to our 10 o'clock. We'll be ending around 10:15. We're basically halfway, but let's jump back to the iPhone. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Let me go to the mini pod, the mini. Okay. Now, I'm sure a lot of people, when they saw this, they're like, okay, here we go again. So the mini pod looks like this. So basically, it's a speaker. The hopefully you won't put some flowers on them, but it's actually a speaker with the what do you call this? This bright colors on top. Which is basically Siri, so it's like glowing there, and it's going to fill the room with sound. It's got intelligent assistant. Basically, this is Apple's answer to the Alexa, and it's going to control your smart appliances. It's private and secure, and I mean, you can say so many things about how it looks, okay? But maybe because the reason why it looks like the cover of a what do you call that? That basket that where you put the like those apples. Literally, I have actually a picture of that. I just don't know where to put it. But it looks the way it looks because maybe number one, um, it's seamless that when you put it around the room, you wouldn't even notice that it's actually a speaker. I think that's the whole point. Because if it looks more like a tech gear, it's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. Maybe the idea here is that you don't want Apple doesn't want it to look like a tech gear. I think that's the whole point. It wants it to look like a decor somewhere. So here on the top, you can see the plus and minus, which is the volume. I'm assuming, and it has 360-degree audio. You can say whatever you want about how it looks, but then again, the idea is not about the look. You're not buying this because it looks like that. You're buying it because of the sound. All right, that's where the priority starts to shift, because the reason, I mean, it's nice that it looks like that. It doesn't look like one of those accessories or tech equipment. But again, you're not buying it because it looks that way. If it looks that way, then might as well buy a display, right? Somewhere you get from a department store, right? But you're not buying it for the look. You're buying it for the sound. That uh, gives more value to it. All right. And it says here that it has 360 degrees audio. 360 degrees audio. All right. And not just that, it has larger speakers. And when it finds somebody, oh, there's a black version. Look at that. And if it finds another kind of another HomePod within the area, it creates a stereo pair. Okay. So, and it works effortlessly with your Apple products, which is always good. And you can enjoy music. Here's the only thing I noticed about the when this was mentioned. They mentioned the different applications that work with it. There's no Spotify. Of course, they're going to be. The question there is okay. First thing is there's no Spotify because they do have Apple Music. So they're gonna push their own product. That's a given. All right. They're gonna push Apple TV. That's a given. So the question now here is this: does this work with Spotify? My take is yes. I believe so. Maybe if you're gonna be using your phone and that's like an external Bluetooth kind of speaker, maybe it does. We really don't know unless we get somebody reviews it online. Maybe it will it work with Amazon? We don't know. If I watch Amazon on my TV and I pair it with my is that gonna work? We really don't know. Is it a standalone speaker? Does it work or does it play well with Bluetooth? What if I have an Android phone? Will it work? We really don't know. But it does have Siri. Okay. So this is another way for you to have an alarm clock. In can we just be honest right now? How many people here? It's like I'm talking to 300 people. It's like there's only like 4 people here and 3 people, you know. How many people here are using Siri extensively? Not, I mean, like you're using it to, do stuff like turn on lights and stuff. Or are you just using it just to have an alarm clock? It's the most expensive alarm clock that you probably have. Hey Siri, wake me up in 10 minutes, or yeah. So is this going to be
Set an alarm for 9:57 p.m.
there you go. See, that's my did you hear that? Well, give me a second. That's actually my phone. That's wait, hold on. Let me turn let me turn off the alarm. That's actually Siri, my phone. See what I'm saying? So is there home is there HomePod going to be another way for you to set alarms? I have to be very careful what I say when Siri's around. Anyway, so it can play music, of course, and all of that, and it even has the intercom, which I already talked about the last time, which you can actually, if you had more than one HomePod in every room, and you can just tell people, it's time to go, it's time to eat, and they send the message to the rooms. For me personally, it's ideal if you have a small home. If you have a big home, but if you have a small home, maybe it doesn't. Okay, Paulo said, it's useless if you have an Android phone. Of course, of course. So this is not really for Android users. It could be one of those that is number one primarily for people who are already using Apple. But this is actually, let me put that here. It says Paulo says that it's useless to have an Android phone. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work with an Android phone. But hear me out. He says I am Team Apple, but I prefer Google. When you say you prefer Google, do you mean that Google, like the Google uh, smart system, or etc.? I'm not really sure what you meant by that, but yes, there are. And let me say this: I'm also using Google appliances or Google technology, and even my Fire TV is actually under Google Android TV, and it's very good. At least the Fire TV version is a very good, very responsive kind of uh, operating system for the TV. So there's also a lot of Google a lot of good stuff on Google as well. Don't get me wrong. This is not a bash Android channel. This is a channel that looks into technology. And yes, I would tell you there are a lot of good things also on Google when it comes to their technology. Yeah, Jopet says, "Hey Google." Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah, hey Google, stuff like that. Hey Siri, hey Google. Right? Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. It's activating again. Um, so anyway, yeah. So let me go back to this. Here's a thought with the HomePod, and we're already on 15 minutes into our uh, live stream. Again, thank you so much for those who are tuning in. We are Curious Tech Live, and you are joining us on our Curious Conversation 1 week after the Apple event. We're trying to talk about the Apple event and the products that were mentioned there. Here's what I think. What I think about what I love about the HomePod is this. Okay, is this the $99 price point? Now, a lot of people say, "Wait a minute, you got a lot of money." No, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm just saying is it's a good, it's a sweet spot if you want to start something like a speaker system with Siri and you know all the other benefits that come with it. I think it's a good price point for certain reasons. One, I think number one, I think that if you're like what Paolo mentioned earlier, that you don't have an Android phone. Question here is, if you don't have an Android phone, will this be something that, yes, I believe it could be a good standalone. It can be something that can be used without, if you don't have an iPhone. Um, yes, because all you need to do is, I'm assuming you just need to have an Apple ID and you just hook this up and something like that. So they didn't say anything about there's a requirement with the Apple iPhone. However, this is where I'm looking at when it comes to attracting people who are not part of the ecosystem of Apple just yet. This would be a small investment to be part of that, right? If you remember a few years ago, probably about a decade ago, when Apple launched the Apple Mini, the Mac Mini, if you remember, and the Mac Mini, it was so far. Let me just say this: it was so long ago that I had to explain to my son what a Mac Mini is. It's like, what's a Mac Mini? And so anyway, so the Mac Mini is it's like it looks like a cookie box, but it doesn't have a screen, doesn't have anything. It's just that, just the CPU. Because the idea of the Mac Mini is you buy that, and then you connect already the peripherals that you already own. So if you have a computer screen, you can connect it there. If you've got a keyboard, you can connect it there. If you've got a mouse, you can connect it there. And it's a way for you to get. It's not really powered. It's not as powered as a MacBook Pro, but it's good enough that it can get you started with having Macs and doing stuff on the Mac. It's a good entry level MacBook machine or a Mac machine that if you like this, then they're hoping you can shift to the higher level MacBook, whether it's a MacBook or MacBook Pro or an iMac. Um, I think I think this is a way for them to lure people who may be iffy on being part of the Apple system and just say, hey, this is only 99. It's a small investment. So they buy this and then they try it out, and maybe later on they can think of, might as well get a phone, an iPhone, or yeah, this is cool. Maybe get another one, right? So uh, we're not sure if it's a standalone device. We don't. That's true. Maybe it's not standalone, but maybe it's not. Maybe you just need an iCloud account, which is actually free. It's actually free. So there's a lot of ifs, right? So, but if this is really a standalone account, or sorry, a standalone machine, then this is a good way to attract more people to be part of the Apple ecosystem. Now, of course, there are some who may not be like still on the, like myself. I What I do is I use the best of both worlds, whatever works for me. So I'm not really like Apple, uh, a part of the Apple religion or something like that. Whatever application or whatever uh, works for me, then that's what I use. Okay. So if this is really what they're thinking about, then go. That's great. More power to you, right? And again, it does look good. Um, it does look good. It should sound good. Actually, that's more my that's more the important thing here. It should sound good because a lot of things look good, but they don't perform well. Okay, and we should go beyond the eye candy. We should go beyond the streamlines of that because there are a lot of products out there. They look good. They really look good, but when the rubber meets the road, no, no. Okay. All right. So yeah, those are basically the things that were launched last week. We've got the iPhone 12 Pro, the Pro, sorry, the iPhone 12 and the Mini, and of course the HomePod Mini, the HomePod Mini. Now, let me put that back here. There we go. All right. So I've been talking for almost an hour here, and I want to thank you for being with me here. What are your thoughts about the products that were launched last week? Okay, we've got some people. We've got 4 people on the stream. Hey, that's not bad considering I just streamed like I just put it out there today, and there are people coming in. So that's not bad. So what are your thoughts about the Apple products that were launched last week? All right. You can put it on the comments. Go put it on chat. I'll be more than happy to read them. I'll be more than happy to put it even on the screen, um, and uh, have a discussion with you. We have more or less about 15 minutes more, and then we're gonna wrap this up. But yeah, so what do you think? What do you think about the um, products that were you know launched now that it's a week after and the hype has died down in a sense that of the event, not necessarily the products but the event, when we have cooler heads and we have more settled uh, uh, you know hearts. We can really think about, is this a good deal? It's not something impulsive that we're going to do. One of the things, though, although of course I was expecting, but I more or less, let's just say it's a nice to have, but more or less it won't show up. But let me get a drink of water first. Where the MacBooks, I was kind of expecting that the MacBooks will show up, but it didn't, which is fine. Because maybe that there's actually a rumor that there could be a November event. It could happen. I mean, they're not really putting people together in a room anymore, so it's not that hard to bring people. They just put it on the webcam, or sorry, on your website, and say, "Hey, we're gonna have an event next week, or we're gonna have an event 2 weeks from now," and everybody's gonna attend anyway, all right? Because they're all at home. Mm. Always good to have water when you're having live stream. Nothing bad about that. Paolo says, "I like Apple Pro Raw as a content creator. And I would like to test that and adding it to my content." Yeah, Paulo is actually a content creator. He does unboxing, a lot of stuff, tech toys, and stuff like that. So, hey, Paulo, put your link on the screen so at least people can and find you. All right. So he's also a content creator, such as myself here on YouTube, and we're doing our best to go and get that brass ring of YouTube monetization. We're getting there. We're getting there. So yeah, he wants to test this out, and yeah, maybe you could, maybe you would, maybe very soon. But the thing about it is that Apple doesn't really, Apple. At least let me just say this in the Philippines, in the context of the Philippines. Okay, so since we're talking about it, and maybe even at the context of other nations as well. Uh, I think I think this would be one of those purchases that a lot of people will kind of think about if they're gonna get. Simply because, or maybe this might actually come to think of it, this actually might be a much better seller than the 11, in the sense that there's that certain sense of robustness when it comes to the body of the phone, and the other features that come with it. So this might be another bestseller for them. Not that the 11 wasn't, but there might be a much better clamor for this one simply because of how people react to the body of the phone. So yeah, and maybe because of the mini, maybe because of the mini, or maybe here. Here's a thought. While you guys are flooding my chat, here's a thought. They didn't come up with an SE model. They called it a mini. That's a better way of doing things, I suppose. So there's a rumor on November 17, there might be another event and they might focus on the MacBooks, which is something I've been looking forward to. So yeah, that's it. So okay, if you guys have any questions, we have like 15 minutes to go before we end this live stream. And again, let me just give you a reminder, a plug. If you are here, you're watching us. Maybe you watching us live. Maybe you haven't, or maybe you happen to catch us on replay, and you're not a subscriber. You just happen to type Apple, and we just showed up for some reason, and you're happy, and you're really happy with not just the live stream, but even the content that you see on the channel. We're a very young channel, and as a young channel, we do need your help. And I'd like for you to please subscribe, watch the videos that you see here, like it. Don't just like it, comment on that. We do respond to the comments. Each and every comment, we respond to that. And it would be great that you guys can just help us out for our goal of 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And we're not ashamed to say that we need help, because we do need help. And your click will make a lot of difference. Your subscription will make a lot of difference to the channel. All right, so there's a blog right there. All right, so let's go back to our chat. If there's some people here, so here's my take on the Apple thing. Because I said this already, and last time we had the live stream, and I'll say this again. So am I going to get the 12, the an Apple phone, or the Apple phone, or iPhone 12? Am I gonna get it? If you are currently using an Android phone and you're not happy with that, or if you're currently using an iPhone and it's an old model, and when I say an old model, I mean like a 6, 7, maybe even an 8. And if you have that, and if you have the money, and you have the means to go and get this, go get it. I think it's a good phone to upgrade to from an old phone. Now, let's say, for example, just like me, I have an iPhone 11. Do I need to go to a 12? Personally, I don't need to, because I'm happy with my iPhone 11. Okay? Do I need an iPhone 12 right now? No. Before my iPhone 11, I had an iPhone 6S, I believe. I think, yeah. I had an iPhone 6S, a big one. Not really. How do they call that? Just the big one. The big one. So I had a phone like that. And that's what I'm saying. If you have a phone, something like that, and then you want to go to a 12, by all means, if you have the means, the money to go to that model, go right ahead. But there is also another, which, Paolo, I'm going to answer your question, because his question is, if you're going to get an iPhone 12, which one will you get and why? I'm going to answer that later after this. And Judah, hey, Judah, what's up, bro? You're here. Let me just say this one. Nice of you to join me, bro. It says here, I think the iPhone 12 is Apple's new standard. Every year is always a new standard. I'm actually surprised. Here's the thing. I'm actually thinking, are they going to use the number 13 next year? Simply because most people think that it's unlucky. iPhone 13. Are they going to use the 13? Maybe they will, because they're going to spin it off and make it look good. But yes, it could be, yes, the iPhone 12 will be their new standard. But again, we go back to what I was saying. Are you going to be getting a new phone? Again, if you can afford it, if you think that it's something that you can use, maximize it, go right ahead. If you're here and you're saying it's part of your plan, because some of us, they have like, yeah, well, yeah, it's free and part of my plan, then go get it. It's free. Well, it's not really free. I mean, you're paying for it with your plan, but then again, you're it's available on your plan, and you're paying for it anyway every month. So might as well get it. Go ahead. Go get it. But here is where I come in. And this is where Paolo, with his question, that if I'm going to get an iPhone 12, which one of those will I be getting? All right. My personal preference in anything that I buy, whether it's a phone, whether it's a TV, whether even if it's a small little gadgety thing, it all boils down to purpose. It all boils down to purpose. If you buy something and it's just for the sake of buying, then don't buy it. It's just one of the, because sometimes we do have these like impulse buying uh, things that we go through, right? And we buy stuff for the sake of buying it, or because you have the money, if you because you have your 13-month pay or something like that, and you don't really think too much about it. That's why we're having conversation right now, because now we're thinking, okay, after the hype, does it really stack up to my expectation? So again, we go back to purpose. Anything you buy should have a purpose, whether it's a ring light or whether it's a phone. There always have to be a purpose. Now, of course, the purpose needs to be a purpose that really is substantial, right? Don't come up with a makeup, purpose, or I just like, oh, okay, I just want to make a purpose so I can justify it. No, it really has to be a purpose that that's going to be a need, or something important. Maybe I want to buy this because it's for my business. Okay. I want to buy this because I'm a content creator and I make money out of the content I create. And I'm going to use the camera from this phone to make content. Or I'm going to use this because you know what I'm saying? So it's always going to be about purpose. Now, to answer the question, which one of the phones I'm going to buy, that is considering, Paolo, clarify. Let's clarify the parameters. Okay. Let's clarify the parameters. The parameters, what are you saying? Okay, here, okay, let me put the parameters. Let's say, for example, I have no problem with money when it comes to, okay, I've got a budget to buy one. Which one would I buy? I would buy the Pro. I would buy the Pro. Simply because I'm a content creator, and simply because when I have the Pro, I'm sure I can maximize it uh, to its fullest potential when it comes to content creation, when it comes to videos, when it comes to all of the stuff I want to do, even for editing. I'm going to get the Pro Max, bar none. I'm going to get that. If the issue is I have no money, problems, I have no, so I'm going to get the Pro. All right. Now, will I get it? So if I have a problem with the budget, which one between the two? I might get the 12, not the mini. Mini is cute, but I'm getting older. And when you get older, your eyes is the first one, or one of the first ones that gets affected. So, in this case, it's my hair, but which is actually natural highlights. Okay, but it's your eyes. So one of the reasons why I actually moved to a smaller phone, from a smaller phone to a much bigger phone, is because of my eyes. It's kind of harder now to read, and I actually have glasses. I'm not just wearing glasses because sometimes there's glare. So yeah, put it there. So I use my glasses, but if I don't have my glasses anymore, I can't read it. In fact, my phone becomes a mini because I have to, read it so far away from. My phone becomes so small. I have to read it, because my eyes there's a problem. So I'd rather go for an iPhone 12 simply because of the size and considering also the performance. Now, if the 12 and the 12 mini have the same performance, I'll go for the 12, simply because it's one of it's handy, it's nice, you know, and I think I can maximize the 12. I'm not sure if the mini has just one camera. If it has one camera, then I'll go for the 12. At least that one has two. Oh, nice comment. Judah said, "Awesome, curious convo. More of this. Yes, we will be having more of these things. Not just me talking, but we're going to be coming up with guests coming over, and we're going to have conversations like this. So, curious conversations brought to you by Curious Tech Life. Thank you so much, Judah. Yes, Paulo says my postpaid plan is, or my postpaid, another tongue twister. My postpaid plan ended last August, waiting for this to be available before I renew. Little tidbit. In my case, I actually my postpaid plan ended about 2 years ago. I was just waiting for the opportune time if a particular model would suit my needs until 11 came along, which is great. I'm happy with my 11. I'm doing a lot of stuff in my 11. I'm doing a lot of videos in my 11. So I'm happy with it. But if there's somebody out there who wants to give me a 12 or a 12 Pro, hey, I'm not complaining. Go right ahead. I'll be more than happy to receive them. And when I do receive one, if you're gonna gift it to me, let me assure you, it's going to be maximized to the brim. All right, because that's what we do. All right, so we got a few more minutes to go. If you guys have anything else to say, yes, Paolo, they skipped the 9. Not sure why. I'm not really sure why. Why did they go to the X? Maybe it's a cool thing to have. X, iPhone X. They don't even want to call it iPhone 10. Two cameras, both on iPhone 12 and mini. Oh, cool. That is cool. But I'll still go for the 12 simply because it's easier to read. Maybe the mini would be good for like younger teenagers. When I say younger teenagers, simply because I consider myself a teenager. That's why I said teenager, younger teenagers. Anyway, anything else? Wide and ultra wide for the Pro. Additional is the telephoto lens. Can you again? Those are lenses that most likely the pros will use. Not saying amateur people like you and I won't use it, but more or less they'll maximize that more. But for us, maybe not really. Maybe not really. But for me, again, you list down why do you want a phone? Not just because of the height, not because you're a fanboy, not because of what. Are you gonna use this, or are you just gonna play, games with it? I mean, yeah, you can play games with it, but come on, there's gotta be more to life than just you know using the phone for games. If you're gonna buy something to use for games, buy a PlayStation. Come on. And you might be saying here, well, yeah, but we can't bring a PlayStation ever. Whatever. If again, purpose, purpose, purpose. Anything you do must have a purpose, and don't just make up a purpose. It has to be a solid kind of purpose. All right. So we're almost going to 10:15. I want to thank the people who are joining me today. There's one watching us on Facebook and 4 people watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much. Well, basically, I'm gonna thank the ones who are here: Jopet, Paolo, and Judah. Hey guys, again, Jopet, Judah, and Paolo. If you've got a YouTube channel, please put it on the screen. I'm gonna flash it so that people can actually see it and promote it here, because not only are you my friends, but we want to help each other out. So Paolo, Jopet, and Judah, if you've got your YouTube or even your Facebook, put it there. If you want people to follow you, we'll put it right there. Who knows? There might be people who will be watching after this. Put it there. So again, let's cap it up. Let's cap it up. Let's do a recap. So again, last week the iPhone 12 was launched. Different variants, and also the HomePod Mini. Now, these are, uh, you know, gadgets. These are appliances. I don't want to call it appliances. These are gadgets. I call it just gadgets. These are gadgets that can improve the way you do things. And again, every gadget has a purpose. And it is my prayer and hope that when you buy gadgets, you use it to the fullest extent of it. Because if you don't, then it's just a waste of money. And if you're watching this and you're saying, I need this, really justify it. Really think about it a lot more. Think twice, thrice, four times, because you're going to be spending money on Apple products. And if you're not going to get back the money that you spent on these products, and you're not going to use it properly, then it's a waste of time and it's a waste of money. And and again, one more thing. If you're the kind of person who's going to forego a lot of stuff, specifically the necessities and the basics of life, just so that you can get an Apple phone, please don't go that route. All right, don't skip on meals, or buy necessities just because you want to buy a new gadget. No, no. um, don't go that route. We want to make sure that when you buy, and even here in the channel, the things that we feature, if you're going to be investing on these products, please make sure that you can still eat every day, all right, and pay the bills and go to school, and not just get a new gear and nothing. So that's my thought about that. So are you going to get an iPhone 12 as long as you can use it to its fullest extent? But I am kind of thinking, yeah, it might be something, maybe 6 months down the road, maybe it's something that maybe you can use. Um, but until that time, I'm happy with the iPhone 11 that I have. But of course, that's just me. What about you? If you're given an opportunity to buy an iPhone, would you be able to buy the iPhone 12? Well, that's all the time that we have. It's already 10:15. I want to thank everyone who's joined me today, and appreciate you for all the comments on the screen, on the chat. And maybe if you're watching this and you can still comment on the feed, go right ahead. I think that's something that we can actually do, and we can read that, and maybe we can respond to it as well. And yes, we will be having more conversations like this in the very near future. That's the thing about having a YouTube channel and having things like these. We try to experiment. We try to figure out ways for people to just be informed, and to know if this is something that they can be of use and add value. So again, thank you so much for everyone who's joining me. Let me just give a shout out to the particular people who is here: Jopet, Paolo, Marasigan, and Judah. Hey guys, come on. I'll give you a minute. Post your links on the chat. Post your links on the chat. Let me know so I can flash it on the screen. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Before, as I say my goodbyes. But then again, guys, thank you so much for all those who are supporting Curious Tech Life. It's an amazing journey as we journey towards the goals that we've set for the channel. And again, we want to let you know we'll be coming up with new reviews very, very soon. We've got products lined up. There's companies that are partnering with Curious Tech Life, and we want to give you unbiased, practical, no nonsense videos. That when you look at these videos, you're going to say, oh, okay, that makes sense, right? Uh, for us, tech specs are important, but what's more important is if you can use them properly in your own life. So again, thank you so much for everybody who has joined us here today. And one more thing, if you're not a subscriber of the channel, please subscribe the channel. Go watch our videos and on the channel, and like them, and also comment. We do comment and reply to the comments that the people or the visitors and those who are watching. We do comment on that, and please do share. We want people know more about the channel. Again, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I know it's one of those things that abrupt, spur of the moment, but those are some of the things that usually happen very quickly. You plan so much, sometimes you plan so much again and they don't push through. But sometimes the spur of the moment happens, and then boom, there you go. Something happened, conversations happen. Again, thank you so much for joining us for Curious Conversations. This is Ronnie Garcia from Curious Tech Life, saying to you, thank you so much for joining us. God bless you, and stay tech curious. Bye.